Thank you very much. Hey, I'm back. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited. We certainly do wish Dr. Shahana, some well wishes. I know as a speaker, it's like the last resort to not end up going to a gig. So we send her so much love and heart. But I am honored to be on the stage today, to be spending some time with you, a whole hour of some ideas and thoughts around, communication, stepping into your power, your personal and your professional power. I remember it was about, I would say 15 years ago, around there, and I hired a very expensive branding and communications coach because at the time I needed some help in articulating like what I do and how I offer it and all that kind of stuff. And I remember on our very, very first call, she said, "Well, Trisha, who are you? What do you do? And why does it matter?" She was very intimidating. Very. And I was, at the time, I when you get a question like that and you're just not sure what to say, and you kind of just go, and I had this like frozen moment. But then, of course, I've worked in radio for many years, so I can't have dead air. That's not cool. So I just started like literally vomiting on her every single thing that I could think of about what I did, who I did it for, the services I offered, what I had for breakfast, what I, did with the kids the day before. And then I kind of paused, and then it was just on a phone at the time, before Zoom. And there was like, she just was quiet. And I was like, yeah, I got a lot of work to do. But we did spend a lot of time together, and we went through quite the process of defining those questions, like who are you? What do you do? And why does it matter? And at the end of it all, our time together, we came up with this kind of theme of passion igniter. That's right. I ignite your passion. And it felt so aligned, many years ago, 15 years ago. And so we created the website. I even got like the business cards because I thought those were really important. And then, I thought to be efficient and strategic at one of my kids' birthday parties, instead of putting all my information in, I slipped one of my Passion Igniter cards into each of the invites. And I'm like, this is, I'm also pretty excited about my new business cards. So a couple days later, I get to the school. I'm waiting around. I think I had one kid in like one of those buggies. I'm doing this thing, And a couple moms are looking over, and one walks over and she says, "Hey." She's like, "So about the party." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "So tell me, how does it work? Like, should I bring my husband?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm thinking it's a birthday party. I'm sure. Bring your husband. You know what? We'll have like drinks. It'll be so fun. And she's like, and she was so awkward. I'm like, but everyone's a little different, right? She's like, "So, will there be toys there?" And I'm like, I have 3 kids. So many toys. So many. We're good. And then, of course, it sort of dawned on me, as I'm sure you're thinking right now, that she wasn't talking about the birthday party. She was talking about my passion party. Because I'm the passion igniter. So I want to clear that up right now. If anyone heard me speak before, you've probably heard this, but I have not, may in the future, sell sex toys. Okay? Sounds like a pretty good revenue stream, actually. Anyone here remember the days of the passion parties? Yes? We're in a safe room, right? Who went to a passion party? Yes. So for those of you who don't know, passion parties were like the 90s, late 90s, I think. They don't exist anymore. I actually did all the research, Googled it all up, where you could come together in like a network marketing company, and you could discover toys and stuff, and you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, I'm a passion igniter, but not in that way. And I just think it's so interesting how communication can take so many different forms, right? Sometimes what we're putting out is not necessarily what is being brought back to us, and sometimes what we're hearing from others is not necessarily what they're trying to share. This session for the next 55 minutes is all about your voice. Your voice called, and it absolutely wants you to use it. So let's dive in. There's no place that has more miscommunication than the four-way stop. Yes, right? Raise your hand if you've ever been at a four-way stop and you left it deflated, angry, bitter, resentful, sad, upset. This is not good for humanity. We need to do something for humanity about four-way stops. I remember being at a four-way stop not long ago. God. See, I think I know the rules. I just feel like you just go when you can go. But anyways, so I'm at a four-way stop. I'm here. The lady's in front of me, like the other side. She's going to be turning left. I'm going straight. Now, we got to the four-way stop at around the exact same time. So because I dislike confrontation, I let my wheel slide just a little bit longer, right? Just so it looks like I wasn't there first. You know, that's my little tactic. Well, I don't know what happened this particular day, but we both started to go at the exact same time. And like, we didn't like start going at 60 miles an hour, 60 kilometers an hour. Like, we just started to go. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I'm having this moment with her, like, it's all good. Sorry about that. And I thought she was having that moment too. I thought we were bonding. Until as she turned in front of me, she looked like this. Except for her face, her mouth wasn't closed. It was mouthing two words continuously. And her hand wasn't quite in that shape. And oh my goodness, in that moment, I felt like this. I was so sad. Like, I thought we had a moment. Like, you know, no one's been hurt. Like, what the heck? Why can't you just give me the grace that I would give you? Ever been in that situation when someone doesn't give you the grace that you would give them? Right? We could have an entire workshop/therapy session with that one, for sure. So this is how I felt in that moment. Oh my gosh. And it's just another example of how communication, what we're putting out is not necessarily what's received, and what they're sharing is not necessarily how we take it. I like to think that communication has 4 pillars. This is how I like to teach it. One is words. The words we actually say, the choices we make in the words that we choose. Voice, how we say it. So are we talking really fast and excited? Are we talking a little bit slower and more controlled to make more of an impact? And of course, there's a space that we take up. The space, how we move our arms, how we walk around, or even if we're just standing there having a conversation with one person, how we're showing up. Our shoulders down, our shoulders up, that kind of thing. And you put it all together, the most important pillar to communication, I believe, is our energy. The energy we bring to every single conversation, every verbal and non-verbal moment that we have with another human being. And communication's powerful because it can open doors, it can close doors, it can create connections, it can create possibilities, and it can create relationships. And at the end of the day, when we talk about professional and personal success, everything comes down to relationships, right? Everything comes down to relationships. So you put your words, your voice, your space, and your energy together, and that creates the complete package of you. And I know it's cliche to say, but guess what? You're special. You're special. You're special. Everyone look to the person next to you. Like, find a partner. Find your BFF at the table. Tell them they're special. I love the energy. You're special and you're special. Good job. So for the next 50 minutes, the person you turned to and said you're special, that is going to be your partner for the next 50 minutes. Your BFF, your ride or die. Is that the word? Is that how you say it? Die or ride? You know, ride or die. Right? Yes. Thank you, Sarita. The things I ad lib. I don't know. So that's your best friend. So you're going to be working with them for the next 50 minutes. So just keep that in mind. Give them a little side eye and be like, yeah, I got you. Okay, so your BFF. So I'm not just talking about communication on a stage with a microphone. Truly, how many of you, without a doubt, without every soul in your body, are like, I love a microphone? Yes, I knew that table was gonna think, me? Yes, me. Anyone else? You got a few in the room? Perfect. We should all meet afterwards and like talk about the pressure of it all. But for the most of us, like 90-something%, it's not like you want to get on a stage and talk. So that's not necessarily the communication that I'm talking about today. I do have a couple tools for you when you have to do a group presentation of, say, 5 or more people, and I hope they serve you really well. But for today, it's more about a focus on the one-on-one conversations we have every single day. Those one-on-one interactions where, again, we can open doors, we can create relationships, we can share our voice, our energy, the whole package of us, and we can feel good about doing it. Ever been invited to go to an event like we talked about this word yesterday with Suzanne mentioned it, like networking? Anyone in this room just so excited to go to networking? Yeah, I knew that too. Networking. It has like this connotation about it. But here's what I've discovered. Networking, so when I say networking, I mean about going to any kind of event where you're meeting other people and you're making these connections and these relationships and driving and sharing your energy with others. So the thing with networking is that it's like going for a walk, right? Like you don't ever come back from a walk and say, God, I wish I didn't go for that walk. Like, damn, that was the worst little bit of physical exercise I ever had, right? Because when you go out and you make these connections, it actually feels good. But I don't know about you. I'm an extrovert professionally, but very introverted personally. You throw me into a party house, I want to shrivel up and go home. Like that's not my thing. Put me into a networking event, I'm a little bit better at that. But the thing is that getting out there and sharing our energy can feel very daunting. But when we do it and we make a few connections, usually it feels pretty good, yes? Right? We're like, yeah, that felt pretty good. So I want to challenge you to kind of get out of the comfort zone and get into making some more connections for yourself, and truly connections equal opportunities. Communication is like a bridge. So when we're having these networking moments, or we're talking to the barista at the coffee shop, or we're connecting with our BFF at the table or others in this room, and Spark is so special for this, we're creating bridges of opportunity. But the thing is that many times these bridges look more like this. And communication is very complex, but it doesn't have to be so hard. Anyone here ever left a conversation thinking, yep, we're on the same page, and then it goes completely to shit from there? Yes? Yeah. Again, that could be another keynote therapy session kind of thing. I would like you to share with your BFF one quick communication fail that has happened to you, let's say in the last 10 years. We'll give a real large runway for this. But you have 1 minute to each share a very quick communication fail, and enjoy. Go. And we got 30 more seconds. Okay, give your BFF a fist pump and say, good job. We're rocking this. Nice fist pump. I'll have everyone come back to the room. So, you just shared an epic communication fail with your best friend. And no doubt we could spend an entire afternoon having a similar conversation, because it does happen. Because again, communication is complex, but it doesn't have to be so hard. Now listen, this next 50 minutes together, we are going to be having some awesome, amazing, so fun audience interaction. We got like 80% of people going, I literally just want to have my coffee, my nitro, the jet fuel. Leave me alone. But then you get this peppy motivational speaker who's like, oh yeah, it's going to be good. But as a sidebar, I just want you to know that what I do have to entice all this audience interaction is chocolate. I got chocolate to give away. So with this exercise, share one quick communication fail. Would anyone be brave and bold enough, remember yesterday, Carol, a little brave, to share their communication fail? Yes, I can run to you. I can, yes, okay, I'm coming. Oh, do. I do need to get my steps in because I'm in perimenopause. I need 10,000 steps a day, 120 grams of protein. Oh, I can't. Hi, Catherine. Wait, no, I'm coming. I got this. Hi. Wait. Corey. Okay, ready?
Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm Corey. I'm a little bit peppy, too, so it's all good. So my communication fail was one that I feel like maybe a lot of people in this room might have experienced if they've moved to Fort St. John from a bigger city. You know, business is a little bit different. Views are a little bit different. And I came into a position where I was supposed to be working on our company culture. And so I felt really prepared for that because I came here from Vancouver and I was super involved in company culture and had like a great thing going at my last company for 10 years. And then I got here and started talking about involving the company or employees in some decisions, minor decisions, giving them a bit more of a voice via voting, and they were like, this is not a democracy. Which I totally understand, but it was not the intention of my conversation going into that meeting. I was thinking, let's get these employees an espresso machine. Right? I bet they would love some espresso. Maybe we'll give them the option. Maybe we'll get 3 espresso machines and let them vote. And I guess voting was not the right word to use. Which is okay. It's okay. But I went into this conversation wanting to pick up an espresso machine, and it wound up as a 3-hour conversation about how we're going to do things moving forward. Which I feel like is also fine. But yeah, it was definitely a communication fail on my part, going in feeling really excited and confident about my espresso machine idea.
Thank you for sharing, Corey. Here you go, and I appreciate your braveness. And on a side note, someone here smells so good. Is it? Can I just take a little... You smell good. You all smell good, but there's something's happening here. Thank you for sharing, Corey. So we all have examples in our own lives of communication fails. Thank you. Personal and professional. I remember I remember this one. We have 4 kids. Most days, as long as they don't end up in jail, and we kind of, they eat, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. I went to a Christmas concert once. We had 2 cars there that day. And my husband went home, I went home. We were sitting on the couch. We're trying to figure out what to watch on Netflix. And we get this phone call. It's the principal. We have one of your children here. Yeah, it's like, I don't know what was more embarrassing, that we left the child or that we didn't notice that we left the child. She's the one of the four that doesn't really talk a lot, so really it's kind of her fault. Confident, intentional communication, it drives clarity, it drives connection, and it helps move us forward with success, whatever success looks like for you. Remember, your voice called, and it wants you to use it. Communication does not have to be so hard. Yes, it's complex, but it doesn't have to be so hard. I want to help make it a little bit easier for you. You know, when you're a child and you're walking by a puddle, there's this feeling inside. Do you remember this as a kid? Where you just want to jump in it. You want to jump in the puddle, yes? Maybe, right? And to this day, right, I still feel like when I walk by a puddle, even though I don't want to get messy, I kind of still want to jump in it. So let's take that energy of being that inner child in you, wanting to jump in that puddle, kind of trying something new, that curiosity, that experiencing something a little bit different, discovering. Let's embrace that right now. And I want you to feel it inside of you. And I also want you to trust me on this next little exercise. You trust me? Yeah. Okay. I do have more chocolate. We, every single day, wake up, kind of do the same thing. How many of you, every single morning, have the same habits and rituals? For the most part, right? Yeah, this is how we survive as humans. We have habits, we have rituals, we do the same thing every single day. And when that gets kind of messed up, it's a little bit jolting, isn't it? Right? So if your coffee's not quite right, or there's no eggs left, and that's what you eat every day, or I don't know, if there's a little change in the course, it can be a little bit altering, yes? And that's because we have habitual ruts in our brains. This is how we function. Again, as humans, this is how we thrive. So we don't have to think about every decision every single day. This same feature that makes us amazing as humans can also, get in our way in some cases because we become so habitual, we're not really thinking outside the box. So I want to challenge you. I want to help our brains to think outside the box right now. And that's why I love that you trust me for this next fun exercise. Your BFF. You're going to have a little conversation with your BFF. Super simple. It's going to be about the best date you have ever had in your life. The best date. It could be from any era, but not yet. And here's the key. You're going to have this conversation about the best date you've ever had in complete gibberish. Okay? Does everyone know what gibberish is? Gibberish is a made-up language, and it's made up. Come on, jump in the puddle with me, have some fun. Made-up language. So, do you know gibberish? Can we do a little example? Just you and me. Here, we'll do it down here. Come, Shelly, come over here. Everyone, give Shelly a round of applause. Okay, so it's just you and me right now.
Jibba jibba jibba.
Oh, thank you, Shelly. That was great. So what this is going to do, because it's weird and it's awkward and what the heck, it's going to kind of get our brain alive and awakened to take in some of the tools I'm going to share with you in a couple minutes here, okay? So with your BFF, stand up, and for 1 minute, my trainer says you can do anything for a minute. Stand up and have this amazing conversation in gibberish. Seconds. And that is time. Give yourself a round of applause. High five, fist pump. Good job. Thank you for playing along. That was awesome. Thank you for having fun with that one. I don't know what's your name? Sorry, what's your name? Yes. Sorry? Debbie. So I don't know what kind of date Debbie had. But what I did see was a lot of It was, right? So that's pretty cool. I think you had a great date that day. By the way, I did this exercise with in an academic environment one time. And so there was like a lot of, highly educated, smart people in the room. And this man walks up to me after my presentation and he says, he was mad. He's like, I don't understand why I had to have one of the most personal conversations ever with a complete stranger. Why would you do that? And I was like, but you had it in gibberish, right? And he's like, yes. Interesting. Okay, so thank you for playing in the puddle and getting your brain awake, because it is weird, it's awkward, but you played along, and I really, really appreciate that. We are very connected in this day and age. So incredibly connected, and it's fascinating because we're so connected, yet many of us are actually feeling lonely. Lonely rates are going up every single year. So while we're living, as mentioned yesterday, like in the digital space and the real space, it's fascinating how our loneliness rates are increasing as well. And our one-on-one connections is a skill that is being less practiced, for sure. So today, I want to help provide some simple tools in our communication tool belt. That's me putting a hammer in my tool belt, which I've never done in my life. But I want to give you some tools for one-on-one communication. How does that sound? Yeah? Because one-on-one communication can sometimes be a little bit hard. For some of us, it's very easy, and for some of us, it's not. And for many of us, it's not. And so these tools, if you are a pro at one-on-one communication, these tools are ways that you can actually help empower, mentor, and teach how to have more impactful, confident, and intentional communication with those team members around you, if you have a team. So if these tools aren't necessarily just for you, but you can teach them as well. I just wanted to plant that seed. Here's your first level of one-on-one interaction, the tool to first start it off. It's a simple one, but sometimes in our busyness and our everyday just go, 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 we forget to do this. It is to ask questions. Just ask questions. I know, mind-blowing. But when we're so busy and we're on our phones, we forget to do that. So whether you're at the coffee shop or you're having a sit down with someone, or all these moments every single day, simply ask questions. So with your BFF right now, 1 minute, just simply ask some questions back and forth. Enjoy. 1 minute. You got this. We got 20 seconds. And that is time. Great job. Thank you. Everyone's like, I'm having a good conversation. I don't want to stop. I'll get everyone back to the front of the room, please. Back to the front of the room. Thank you for playing along. I should bring one of those chickens with me that squawk really awfully. Have you ever heard those chickens? They're great at bringing people back to the room. So you ask questions, and it sounds so simple and oh, wow, pretty good tool there, Trisha. But I think it's important to be reminded that simply getting out of our kind of little bubble and reaching out and asking questions is a powerful form of connection. And they don't have to be complex questions. They can be simple questions. And when you ask people questions, wow, they're like, thank you for noticing me, right? And that's powerful, especially if many of us in this room have leadership roles as well. But I think just as a human, it just feels good. So ask questions. That's the first level. Are you ready for level 2? No, please. No more. It's too much, too soon. Level 2 is to collect stories. So now you're asking questions, not just to ask and to have that interaction, but with a genuine desire to understand, to seek stories from other people. My husband is he is not a guy you go networking with. Like, he works at a mill and he just doesn't, he doesn't understand my world. He's like, I don't understand what you do. But I've learned from him that he has this natural propensity to ask people questions and collect their stories. And it's very genuine, and it just flows out of him. So I've tried to use that myself, and it's been a really great tool because it's not so natural for me. So collecting stories. And you know what the beautiful thing about Spark is, or any event like this? What we say up here as speakers, we have all these ideas and insights, yay! But it's the talk that happens at the tables where you get the most out of Spark. Right? Isn't that true? It is. It's the connections. It's hearing someone say, oh, I have a challenge with this. And you're like, oh, you do too? I'm normal. And you see people doing things or talking about things they do, and you're like, wow, if they can do it, I can do it too. So collecting stories is a powerful communication bridge. So for 1 minute with your BFF, I want you to ask questions, but more to collect stories. And you'll see it's a different energy about it. So there you go. Have fun for 1 more minute. We'll bring you back to the room after. Thirty seconds. Okay, thank you for sharing. Everyone back to the front of the room. Thank you for sharing and asking questions to collect stories. I'll get you all back to the room now. Thank you. Did anyone hear of a story in that collection of stories that's mildly inappropriate but totally safe to share? No? Yeah, this is check-in. I love that. You're like, yeah? Oh, yeah? You just gave me the eyebrow. You're like, yeah. Do you want to share it? Wait, whoa. We need a microphone. Okay. Listen, I will get you a chocolate bar, okay? I will save you a chocolate bar. Okay, so mildly inappropriate but safe to share.
Yeah. Okay. This is great stuff. It's not about me, it's actually about my mother. For many years, my mom was a care aide, and my coworker here worked with her at the time at the North Peace Care Center, where it was. And I guess the first time her husband brought her in some lunch or something, and my mom said, "Oh, who's that good-looking guy?" And she said, "Well, that's my husband." And my mom proceeded to grab his ass. Like a handful. Yeah, so I'm going to bring that up at Thanksgiving supper on Saturday with my 71-year-old inappropriate mother.
I like your mom. Thank you for sharing. What I think is so interesting is in 1 minute, that was a story that came out. So can we hang out later? Yeah, I want to invite your mom, 100%. That's going to be me in the old folks' home for sure. That's like #goals, right? Because at that point, you can just do whatever you want, right? Okay, that's a side note. So when you are out there communicating, sharing your energy, using your voice, your words, your space, and you're genuinely asking questions to collect stories, two things happen. One, you're a data collector. The more stories that we learn from others, the more we can use that information for ourselves to help us grow, to be empowered, and to rise up. And the second is when other people feel that you are communicating them in a way that's so genuine, they feel heard, seen, and valued. Wow, and that's a gift. That's a gift that we get to give other people simply by asking them questions and collecting their stories. The final tool of these one-on-one conversations is more network-driven. And I know networking is kind of oh gosh, but it is a really important skill. And when we own it and we can level up using it, we can create more connections and drive more opportunities and, create more relationships at the end of the day. It is the W3, oh my gosh. Triple W, thank you. I will blame that on the hormones too. Triple W formula. It's who, what, and why. Remember that question my coach asked me at the very beginning that just stumped me? It's who you are, what you do, and why does it matter? Why does it matter for your clients? Or if at the first level, it's more, why does it matter to you? Because when you're out there meeting people, there's always that moment where you're asked, hi, who are you with? What do you do? Right? And you have to you need to answer that question or else it kind of would be not helpful in networking. So this is a really easy formula to make it so easy for you. And it's as simple as this, who you are. Start with your name. Everyone knows your name, or you know your name. You know what I'm trying to say, right? You know your own name. The second one is, what do you do? What's your title? This is in a professional environment, right? So what's your title? It can be whatever you want it to be. Mine is, I am a passion igniter, because that usually leads to other questions, and then I feel the conversation flows really great. I find my people. So what do you do? What's your title? And then the final piece, the most important piece, and really the only piece that people might remember is, why do you do it? My name is Trisha. I'm a passion igniter, motivational speaker, and I love to help people feel like they're empowered and can take on the world. That's a good opening, right? And it's up to the person who I'm talking to be like, oh, cool, tell me more about that. Or they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, moving on. But at least you're showing up and you're speaking with clarity, intention, and confidence. And you can adjust it and tweak it no matter where you go, depending on the audience, the networking event that you're at. But it's a really simple formula. How does that sound? Do you want to practice it? Yeah, right? You see what I did there? Yeah. So who, what, why? So just take a minute or two with your BFF, because they're your best friend. You can say anything to them. And share who you are, your name, what you do, your title, and that third piece. Why does it matter? Why does it matter to you, or why does it matter to others, right? Have some fun. Jump in the puddle. I'll give you a minute and a half for that. Enjoy. "30 seconds. Okay. I hope that was enough time. I'll get everyone back to the front of the room. Pretty please. Again, thank you for being and participating. For participating in the conversations. Everyone to the back of the room. Back to the room. Shh. I hate you know what? When my husband, well, if anyone in my life shushes me, I'm just like inside so angry immediately. I'm like, so when I go shh, I'm not shooing you. I'm just shooing the crowd. Okay? Let that be clear. Okay, I got chocolate. I would love to hear someone's example of how they would introduce themselves in that professional networking environment. Oh my gosh, that hand back there went up. Okay, I'm coming. I'm coming with chocolate. Haven't forgot what your chocolate. I'll get you your chocolate. I'm coming. Who you are, what you do. Thanks, kind of like getting awesome. And why does it matter? What's your name?
I can't see you. So
I'm like literally.
I am blind.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I'll give you the microphone.
Okay,
Here you go.
thank you.
And your name?
My name is Edwina, and right now I am reimagining myself. I became blind 3 years ago, and what matters to me is I love building community because I want to come back and be part of my community again.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. Can everyone please stand up and give Edwina a standing ovation? I don't know if you can feel the energy. Thank you. I hope you can feel that energy. Can you feel it? Aw, beautiful. Yes, so who you are, what you do, and why it matters. You know what? They may not remember your first name. They most likely will not remember your title. But they may remember, hi, Jamie. They may remember how that makes them feel or what it sparks inside of them. And that is the power of building bridges, of putting the two together. So, in the spirit of Spark, which is a women's leadership conference, we're going to take on a leadership role right now because it's not just about learning about ourselves. It's about taking that learning and putting it into freaking action, actually doing something with it. So play in the puddles. I promise you, this is one of the few last times we'll kind of get up and do some stuff. But I would challenge you to take this on with a whole heart and share and speak from your voice because it wants you to use it. We're going to spend about 3 minutes right now standing up and meeting 3 different people using our introduction. There's no right or wrong. It's just about building connection. So I'll give you 3 minutes. Enjoy. 1 more minute. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Please finish up. Have a seat at your tables, at your chairs. Thank you for jumping in the puddle, meeting some new people. Have a seat. I invite everyone back to their seats. Thank you very much. Hey, Corner. I mean, I know there's some good conversations happening. That's the hardest part, break it up. Thank you for playing along. That is the power of Spark, is you're making connections with people and learning from them and gaining insights and seeing heard, valued, and understood. And wow, what you can do with that. It changes who we are. So thank you for playing along and sharing. And I know it might feel a little awkward, but it's a great tool that if the more you practice it, the more it just becomes a part of what you say about yourself. And it's also, I think, practicing a little bit about the narrative of your identity, about who you are, how you show up, who you want to be. At the end of the day, the energy that you uniquely share. So those are 3 tools for one-on-one networking, one-on-one conversations, and building relationships one-on-one. How's it feel? They're good? You're doing okay? Good. Let's move on now. I wanted to offer a couple of tools for you as well for group talks. If you have ever found yourself having to speak in front of like 4, 5, 6, or more people, these next tools will be very useful for you. So make some notes. You may not have to use them now, but you might have to use them maybe in the near future. The first one is the idea that pie is delicious, yes, but the idea that when we are speaking with other people, essentially we want to create the environment where I am sharing a nice slice of pie with you, right? You are here, the pie is big enough for everyone, and we're sharing our pie with others. And of course, because I'm a speaker, acronyms are important, so I have one for you, and it is PIE. And it stands for purpose, interaction, and experience. So we use the tool of PIE when we're opening or closing a talk. And again, it doesn't mean like it's like on a stage talk. It could be in front of a board. It can be in front of your leadership team or your staff or whatever it might be, or a volunteer organization. But anytime you have a gathering of people and you need to have an opening and you need to have a closing, PIE is very useful. And it works like this, purpose. You're gonna start off, your first sentence is, why are we here? Today we're here gathered as a collective group of sparklers to empower and rise up personally and professionally. You're setting the stage. You have agency, confidence, and intention. You are engineering the experience, and you're the one handing out the pie to everyone in the room. The second piece is interaction, getting their minds awake. How many of you have ever wanted to be amongst fellow women who inspire and empower you? Right? Yes. So you're involving them in some way. It can be a question. It can be... Well, a question is probably the easiest and the simplest, or you can tell a quick story, but you want to get their brains engaged with some form of interaction. And finally, to close it off, the opening and the closing, it is the experience, what they're going to expect. So over the next hour together, I'm going to offer you some tools to do just that, to feel empowered, inspired, and to rise up and use your voice. See? Simple, but it's structured, because the hardest part usually of a talk for most people, right, is the first 20 seconds. Yes, would you say? It's like the most wobbly, like, oh, I'm up here. But if you go up there and you know exactly what you're going to say and how you're going to close it, you use the same formula for the end. You just say, in conclusion or closing up. It's just so useful and helpful, and I hope it helps you. Do you think at one point you could use pie? Yeah? So make sure you make notes, because you just never know when you're going to be maybe up here. Oh, or maybe in front of another group. And pie does help to create that structure. The second piece, going from pie, all the way to ice cream. Is anyone craving pie now? I'm so sorry. I love ice cream. I love everything. I love chocolate almonds. I love M&Ms with popcorn. Anyways, so yesterday was an exciting day. So ice cream. I was about maybe 8 years old, and I woke up, and I was having a cranky day. I was having a cranky 8-year-old day. I don't know why. I don't remember much, but I remember being cranky. Like, how kids are. They're just cranky. And all of a sudden I hear my dad say, kids, I have one brother, kids, get in the station wagon, we're going for ice cream. Which normally as a child would excite me. Oh my gosh, ice cream. But I was cranky that day. I had to stay in character. I had to follow through. So I begrudgingly got into the back of the station wagon, and we drove to the ice cream store. Get there, I'm holding strong. I'm a fighter. My brother gets out. He goes in. He gets an ice cream. And I remember walking out. I have this visual of him walking out with this big ice cream cone. He's all excited. Gets in the car. He's eating it. And I just sat there. And oh my God, my dad drove away. I was so devastated. I was deeply devastated. I know this is like first world problems, but like I was 8 years old and I loved ice cream. And I remember him driving away, and I couldn't believe that he was like didn't fight for me to have ice cream. You know what I mean? Like he was like, "Oh, you should have some ice cream. You want some ice cream, baby? You want some?" No, there was none of that. And as we're driving away, he said something, and it's always stuck with me. And it's one of the foundational tools I teach all the time. He said, Trisha, if you want something, you need to ask for it. If you want something, ask for it. Or shorter, ask for what you want. Wow. And I remember even as an 8-year-old, I felt that was some maybe important wisdom. And it's always stuck with me. Ask for what you want. I call this a power statement. Each and every one of us have unique experiences, backgrounds, ideas, traumas, lessons, triumphs, and we have all these power statements inside of us. So when you're speaking to a group or you're offering your insights, your thought leadership, look for those golden nuggets of power statements. And they're usually the core of a lesson learned through a personal experience. And just like this picture suggests, it's like giving a little piece of your heart. And what it also does as a presenter, it gives you a moment where you can actually share a story, you can ground your feet, you can look forward, and with absolute genuine heart, you can share your golden nugget. And that's what people resonate with. Ask for what you want. So what is a golden nugget in your life? What could that be? Maybe it's a mantra, it's an affirmation, it's something you've learned from a personal experience that you go back to all the time because it means something to you. Anyone want to share one? You can throw it at me. Who said that? Where'd that come from? You only live once. Yeah, and you probably think it all the time, right? So if you were to stand up here right now and you say something that means something to me is you only live once, we'll feel it. It comes from your heart. Yeah, beautiful. Anyone else? Yeah. Sorry? Give yourself grace. Yes. Need more of that. Progress instead of perfection. And again, you probably say it to yourself all the time, right? Helps you move forward. Gives you courage. Yes? Oh my gosh, yes. Comparison is a thief of joy. We'll be talking about comparison as well. Yeah. Yeah. Failure is the first attempt of learning. And do you say it to yourself all the time? Yeah. So these bold statements, these power statements, they're powerful. And I would love afterwards, you share them with me. I'll be around all day long, of course. And I would love to capture them and because I use them all the time in my own program. So I know there were some other people who wanted to share. I want to hear it afterwards for sure. Or hit me up on Instagram that I loathe and wish would die, but I'm using it. Or LinkedIn, whatever the case may be. So these power statements are the second tool for group presentations where you could have that moment where you stand strong and you share that genuine piece of gold from your own heart. And it's a really great way to share your message, but also to share it in a way that is powerful because it's coming from you. Sound good? So for all those group presentations you got to do, I hope these two will serve you well. It's using your words, your voice, your space, and your unique energy to you to use your voice and to step into your own power and rise up in your own way. Confident, intentional communication drives clarity, connection, and success. But there are things that get in our way from doing that. Have you ever wanted to say something or go after something and then you held back? A few of us in this room? Yeah. This happens all the time. Like, what gets in the way of you actually moving forward? I have a program, it's called Speak Plus, and the reason why I call it the Plus, Speak Plus, because getting up and talking or asking for that promotion or networking, going to those events, like putting yourself into your uncomfortable zone isn't always the hard part. It's what happens in the mind. It's how we hold ourselves back by what we think. And there's so many ways in our own lives that we stop ourselves from speaking up, work and in life. So just in your own minds right now, think of a time when you wanted to say something or do something, but you mentally talked yourself out of it. You held yourself back. I would guess, from working with a lot of different people, that you were held back by one of three voices in your head or messages in your mind. I call them the three vultures, and they peck away at your potential and your possibility. And whether you are a very successful CEO or maybe you are just starting out, or wherever you are in your career, I've heard people use these same vultures because they don't really go away. They're always kind of there. But if we let them run the show, we get the results of not stepping into the things that are going to bring us the most joy, fun, and fulfillment in our lives. Do you want to know what they are? I would love for you to think in your own mind, am I doing this to myself? And if I am, when am I doing it? And also, don't forget, all of this can be used in helping others to be empowered on your teams. Just don't use it like on your partner or your kids. It doesn't work. I tried. It doesn't work. Okay, the first vulture that gets in your way from stepping into your power, your own resilience and rising up is the thought in your head of who am I to think I can? Who am I to think I can do that, right? Have you ever had that thought go in your mind? I remember being a young girl, 17 years old, ready to take on the world, and I had a family friend say to me, Trisha, what is it that you want to do? I was like, oh, do you want to know? Because I'm full of piss and vinegar. And I unleashed on him every dream and goal I've ever had. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. I'm going to travel the world. And then I stopped, and I looked at him, and what did he do? Or back up. What was I looking for? Yes, right? Affirmation, the validation, like big brown eyes of a 17-year-old. Yeah. And I really looked up to this man, and I remember him looking at me. He kind of puffed up a little bit. He said, but Trisha, who's going to listen to you? Like, what do you have to say, honey? Yeah, and it was the first moment I remember feeling embarrassed, like shame, because I'd never really questioned that before. Like, I just thought I could, right? I was young. Life had not beat me down yet, and I had this heat that came up from my bottom and came out my cheeks. I was so embarrassed. It was like the closest thing to shame. I was like, oh my gosh, like, who am I to think I can? But there was something else in that young 17-year-old body that rose up at the exact same time, and it was this thought, and it's how we turn around our vultures. I'm worthy enough to try. I didn't word it that way at 17. I just said, well, I'm going to try. But I like to think of it now as I am worthy enough to try. So if you have the vulture getting in your mind about, who am I to think I can, see it, grab it mentally, and just twist it to I am worthy enough to try. The second vulture is skills-based. Can I actually do that? Have you ever gone after something? You wanted it so bad. You thought about it. You dreamt about it. You worked towards it. And then you get the opportunity and you're like, oh, I have to do that now? Right? Your stomach sinks. You're like, oh my gosh, can I do that? Can I actually do that? Is it just me? Anyone else? Yeah? So this is a vulture. This is trying to keep us safe. It's asking us to not step into the puddle, not to have that novelty in life, not try different things. So can I actually do that? We're going to own it, harness it, twist it around, and we're going to turn it into I can learn. You are a smart, articulate, capable human being. You can learn. You can figure it out. So when we have confidence and trust in that, It takes away the pressure. You can learn. And the third vulture is social-based. What will other people think? Has anyone had that thought go through their mind? When they're going after something you want, big or small, what will other people think? Yeah. Great, thank you, yeah. What will other people think? Well, when we feel that, and we do all the time, it could be our partners, it could be our family members, it could be other people in our industry or work, wherever. What will other people think? Catch it, because it's trying to keep you small. It's trying to hold you back. It is pecking at your potential. And we're going to switch it to this. Who will I inspire? Wow. Who will I inspire? Because I can guarantee you not many things, but I can guarantee this. There is someone who's watching you. And it could be the little girl down the street. It could be the senior executive at work. It could be anyone in your life, but they're watching you and they're seeing how you share your energy and they see what you're going after. And because you're doing that, they think to themselves, maybe I can do that too. And that's a gift. That's pretty cool. And I want to take a quick moment here, a quick pause, because this is a safe room, right? Everyone in your notebooks that you got, take out a pen, piece of paper, maybe if you're doing digital notes, whatever. But I want you to write these words down. Are you ready? You got it? 3 words. What about me? Question mark. What about me? So I've been teaching these vultures for many, many years, probably a decade. And who will I inspire? I think that it's beautiful, right? And it's true, because I've had people come up to me in some of my darkest days of my professional journey and be like, oh my gosh, I saw you speak like 15 years ago, and they say they did something because they saw me, and I'm like, oh, and it kept me going. It kept me moving forward. And that's beautiful. But for 1 minute, can we just be selfish and focus on ourselves for a second about what we need? It's not about inspiring others all the time. It's not about getting to the next level or whatever, proving ourselves to anyone. Just something that we need on an everyday basis. What about me? The selfish hat. So when I say the question of what will other people think, maybe we can take a little side moment right now and ask ourselves, right now, where we are in our lives, in our everyday experience, what do I think? 46 now. I've been going after the goals for a long time. Wherever you are in your progress, in your journey. But on a day-to-day basis, what do I think now? Maybe it's the hormones. I don't know. But you get reflective, right? So what do I think about my everyday? And am I inspired? Is your everyday life experience inspiring you? And it's not about wow, transformation, and the biggest goals, and the achieving the most that you've ever wanted. I don't know, to me, more about the everyday experience. I have a very good friend, and I'm sure many of you in this room do too, friends in your lives right now, or family members who are fighting for their lives. And I have a friend who every day she wakes up and she doesn't know what the cancer journey is going to bring her. And I get to wake up and just be like, what can I experience today? So my job, I feel, is to have that insight, to reflect, but also to be like, how can I be inspired today? What can I do for me that brings more joy, fun, and fulfillment? That awe that Robin was talking about, to be brave, that Carol was talking about, the play, right? All of these things that Brandy was talking about. So a little side note, a little reflective point, because I feel like we're always talking about what we're doing and how we're supporting and empowering, but what about yourself? I don't know. Does that resonate at all? It's kind of on the cuff. Yeah, if you get to a point where we reflect, what about me? Ask yourself that question. All of these vultures can get in our way from moving forward with the things that matter to us, matter to you, matter to me, and these detours over time can take us off course a little bit. But my hope is that by recognizing the vultures, we can switch it up a little bit, step into the power of our own voice, make some choices, every day that invite that fun, joy, and fulfillment so we can experience more. And not about the most powerfully amazing life experience, but an elevated everyday work-life experience. Using our words, our voice, our space, and of course, your unique energy, because you are special. You're special. One more time with your BFF, be like, I love you. I love you. You're awesome. I love the love at Spark. It's so good. You know, when I think back to that first conversation that I had with that very expensive, highly intimidating and aggressive coach, and she said, well, Trisha, who are you? What do you do? What matters to you so much? Or how do you make impact? And I had nothing to say. I feel like I've come a long way since then, but two things really stand out for me that I've learned over the years. One, the Passion Party brand is very strong. Very strong. People are still asking about passion parties. They're still making the connection, and I just think that's a whole other conversation. We should have, like, branding is fascinating. It really is. Once again, loud and proud, how many of you did go to a passion party? Look at that, hey? And I also learned, I feel like we could have a whole session on the experiences of passion parties. It would be fascinating. So that's the first lesson I've learned over the years. And the second one is from my work over the years with the coach and beyond and whatnot, life, you know, doing all the things it does for you, makes you expand and grow and question. The other thing that I've learned is that it's not about communicating more, it's truly about connecting more. And that's why Spark is powerful. The side conversations at the table are powerful, because when we connect more, we are empowered, we grow, we rise, and we can create change for ourselves that feels aligned and good, not in 6 months, not in a year, but in our every single day experience. So yeah, you're a voice called, and it wants you to use it, and it wants you to have a really great time doing it as well. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being able to fill in. Thank you. Thank you. And I also have for you a 27-day e-course. It just comes to your inboxes, more of insights and ideas like I shared today. That is a gift for all of you as well. So thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. And one last BFF moment. Thank you to your BFF. Give them a little gratitude. Thank you. Thank you.